Stokeley is the official studio debut album from Ski Mask the Slump God, after a series of mixtapes that have garnered him quite a bit of attention, and it seems as though that Stokeley has also garnered him a little bit more of that mainstream attention too after a decent first week projected sale. Stokeley is the official studio debut album from Ski Mask the Slump God, after a series of mixtapes that have garnered him quite a bit of attention in the SoundCloud rap sort of era. I've always thought he separates himself quite nicely from his other contemporaries in the trap rap world, as I've always really liked his flows, always thought he jumps on beats and sounds pretty good, and for the most part I just appreciate that it doesn't sound like every other trap rapper around right now, which is starting to get pretty stale for my ears, honestly. So although I've not really thought he's had a great project or great songs, to be honest, but I've always seen him as a rapper that could potentially put out something great in the future. Stokeley, though, is not it. No, yeah, no. Stokeley is ridden with some awful hooks throughout and some atrocious lyrics. Like, I can't even begin to describe how terrible some of these lyrics are. I mean, sure, you could probably find equally terrible lyrics on other albums I've reviewed this year, perhaps in the trap genre or other genres, and maybe I didn't quite highlight how bad they were, but the Ski Mask is on another level here, like, wow. Kind of makes me ashamed to say that I once thought this guy could have great music, because maybe he ain't got it after this one. Like, so many of these hooks are terrible, and I will get into them as to why, but it starts off fine. Like, I like the opening track So High. I think the singing actually sounds pretty nice here. I wasn't expecting it to start this way. And throughout as well, most of the beats are pretty solid. Like, there's nothing really bad about these beats. They're pretty bouncy, they're pretty energetic for the most part. I'd be pretty surprised to hear someone say these are terrible beats, because I don't think they are. It's Ski Mask himself that just manages to grate on me throughout this entire album, and it's only like 32 minutes, but it sticks around quite a long time for me. So Ski Mask really has a tendency on this album to just literally say anything. Like, I know that's something you'd probably hear a boomer say, like, all hip-hop these days is nonsensical crap lyrics, and they all say nothing, and it's all the same. But believe me when I say, this is that album that they're all describing. Cat Piss is the primary example of this, but I could probably name many others on this album. But this is the closing track with Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty doesn't add anything to the song, really. I'm not the biggest fan of that guy, as you all know. But yeah, this track, the way it starts off with Ski Mask is unreal. I think I'm just going to put the lyrics up there to show you what crap he is saying, because what is he on about here? Like, the freaking howdy line about the country star, whatever, Pokeballs in my pocket, and somehow there's a codename Kids Next Door reference here. What is he saying? Like, you can't make this shit up, man. He is literally just stringing words together because it sounds okay on a beat. Like, yeah, listen to him, he flows really well, but flow means nothing when you're saying absolutely bollocks. Faucet Failure as well, probably my favourite track here, if I can even call it a favourite track, because lyrically, again, it's, I don't know, the beat is good. I would say the beat is the best beat on the album, just because of the way it flows really well. But Ashin' on Your Bitch, this is that Pokemon trainer shit, huh? Huh? And what's that line as well, where he's like, bitch, I'm hotter than a pepper, no mint. That's not a brag, man, that's not a brag. An even better brag is where, I can't remember which track it is, where he's like, I'm flyer than an ostrich. Like, he's bragging about being flyer than an ostrich. Of all animals, pick one that can actually fucking fly. Maybe there's some self-awareness here on this album. Maybe that's the point of his approach. He's just saying shit, stringing words together that don't mean anything. I don't know. But it sticks out in such a bad way. Like, surely there's some seriousness here. Like, I feel like the way he raps and the way he flows could only mean that he's not just intentionally making a joke. Like, I feel like he is being serious. Because surely he wouldn't come up with hooks like "Gekki, gekki, 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 gekki." The one of fucking Nuketown with Juice WRLD. And Juice WRLD here is just screaming on his verse. Why? He never does this, or at least I've never heard him do this on the tracks that I've heard him put out. Because usually he's just like an R&B-ish type singer, crooner type guy, but on his verse, bloody hell, he is screaming. Once again with a terrible hook, which only makes me think like, what the hell is he doing? There was none of this on that last mixtape he put out, which I reviewed fairly positively. I mean, I can't say I've ever returned to a track from it, but it certainly didn't make me want to die listening to it. Like, that's an achievement for Ski Mask at this point, apparently. Track Foot Fungus. Why you would call a track Foot Fungus, I don't know, but there's a hook here that I swear is a blatant rip-off of Drop It Like It's Hot by Pharrell and Snoop Dogg. It's got that same like, and then the bouncy like ping pong type percussion going on in the background. Like, unless it's a sample that I've just not realized, or even still, it just sounds crap. I don't really know anything about the feature Austin Lamb on Save Me Part 2, but I do know after listening to him that he has a grating auto-tuned vocal coming in. And here we've got some actual like Juice WRLD type R&B jam here with the freaking singing. And it sounds bad, man. Another thing I do want to mention about this album though is that so many of these tracks are so short. Like, perhaps that's okay for his style and for what he's going for. I mean, if they were any longer, perhaps I would hate this even more than I do. But like, this is his studio album, and so many of these tracks barely hit 2 minutes, and it's just like, did you even put as much effort into this as you did your previous mixtapes? Because I'm struggling to see where that effort is if these songs are so short and yet there's so little in the way of ideas added in. It is pretty soon after those mixtapes as well, by the way. So the fact that these lyrics are pretty terrible is very telling, in the sense that maybe if he'd sat down and worked on this a lot longer than he has, we wouldn't get these bad lyrics. Hooks on Far Gone that are literally it's really lazily put together, honestly, for the most part, this album. Yeah, Ski Mask really hit us with some bad lyrics here and some bad hooks. I don't know, man. 4 out of 10. Not the worst thing I've heard all year, but it certainly is far from good, and I'm very shocked to hear that this is coming from a guy I thought had potential to make something really good. Yeah, fuck it, man. This is bad.